Northampton Public Safety.
Hello, I got a fire in the house, please.
Where?
North 17 Fair Street, please.
17 where?
Fair Street.
Fair Street.
F-A-I-R.
Okay, is everyone out of the building?
I'm in the building, but I try to get out of here.
You can't get out?
Yeah, there's a big fire out there on the porch.
Okay, there's a fire on the porch.
Yeah,
can you get out a different way?
I'm trying to get out of here.
What's your name, sir?
Paul Yeskie.
Paul, can you bring the phone with you?
Well, I got a cell phone with me, too.
Can you get out the back?
Hold on a second, please. I can't get out.
Well, that was the first thing that came to my mind when I woke up. I was never on Fair Street.
Could you give us the address for that third structure fire, please? Fire is reported at 17 Fair Street. 17 Fair Street.
The scenes still smolder in Northampton, a place known for its artsy feel and open-minded attitude, transformed into ash.
About 5 minutes to 2, that's when my alarm went off. And I thought it was my radio, and that's when I ran downstairs. And that's when he opened the door. And he opened the door and he said, "You know, you can call the fire department." So I go back upstairs like a dingbat, try to call the fire department. Nothing. I said, "They must be out," because I told him, "You get out of there right now." And he shut the door and he ran. All dressed, coat, pants, shoes. They took time to get dressed. No, I took my boots and my coat. And I turned around and went back in my room and said, "I better take my pocketbook." And I forgot my glasses.
I had worked on Saturday night, and on Sunday morning I was driving back to Manchester. And I had gotten a call from an officer from Massachusetts State Police who was looking for Linda. The officer said that there had been a tragedy that had happened, and he couldn't tell me because I was not direct family what the tragedy was. And I was finally able to get that there was a fire.
I was on my computer playing a video game, like a computer game. My dad walked in, and he's generally a very easygoing person, but he was very tense. And he was standing in the living room and was just kind of looking around. And so I walked in, I was sneaking into the living room behind him. He just turns around and he's just like, "Where's Mom?" And I was like, "She went outside to take the dog out." And so he just like walked past me and down the stairs, because we were in an apartment, out the back door where my mom was.
I had said to Linda, I said, "Linda, you have to call Rhode Island, Mass State Police. They need to speak to you right away. There's been something that has happened at the house." She did. And that's when we got the news. I'm sorry. I didn't think that this was going to happen.
So we went in and called right away, and the trooper spoke to the trooper briefly, who said he was with my mom, and my mom was okay, and but she had something to tell me. And my mother came on the phone and told me that my stepdad and my brother were dead. And then she said the house burnt down and they were killed. And then she told me it was a homicide. And she said it was arson.
For 9 days, the residents of Northampton wondered if someone in their midst was responsible for the December 27th arson spree that left 2 dead and property damage throughout the Ward 3 area. On Tuesday, the city got its answer. Baye Street resident Anthony P. Baye faced charges of murder, arson, and armed burglary in Northampton District Court, as prosecutors asserted that Baye was the man whose actions had left the entire area in shock and fear. Their charges Tuesday stemmed entirely from the blaze on Fair Street that claimed the lives of Paul Yeskie Sr. and Jr.
Anthony Baye was stopped twice by police the night of the fires. The first stop was by a state police officer, and Anthony Baye reported that he was just arriving home at his girlfriend's house and pointed to the house. The officer took note of it and went on his way. A Northampton police officer by the name of Corey Robinson stopped him just a few minutes later. Officer Robinson stopped Anthony Baye near the scene of some of the last two fires on Franklin and Crescent Street. And Officer Robinson observed him to be completely soaked, asked him where he was coming from, and Anthony Baye indicated that he was arriving. He'd been at his friend's house, and he was arriving at his girlfriend's house and pointed to a house. Officer Robinson asked him to actually call the girlfriend, to knock on the door. There was no answer, but eventually Officer Robinson sent Anthony Baye on his way. In following up that stop, just 2 days after the fire, Officer Robinson learned that Anthony Baye's girlfriend did not live at that address, and so they called Anthony Baye in for an interview. And that began a series of interviews and further investigation that revealed that Anthony Baye had actually been observed 2 additional times that night by police. His plate was run by an Officer Hooton on William Street near the scene of a car fire, and his plate was also run by another state trooper just before he was first stopped. So after Anthony Baye became a person of interest, if you will, in the investigation, the follow-up investigation indicated quite a bit more contact that he'd had with police that night. During the course of his interview with the police, Anthony Baye admitted to setting several fires in Northampton on the night of the December 27th. He never admitted to setting all of them. He denied having memory of some of them, but considered as a whole, his interview indicated that he was responsible for the fires in Northampton that night.
With your permission, do I have your permission? Yeah. Okay, Anthony Baye, Trooper Mazza, and Sergeant Zipper. We're in my unmarked state police cruiser. We're in downtown Northampton. Time now is 4:06 p.m. according to my vehicle clock. And it's Monday, January 4, 2010. We're going to drive around the city of Northampton and make some observations. Now, did you take this road over to Fair Street, or did you come in from Fair Street on the other end? No, of course you remember.
I really don't, honestly.
As I come down here, I noted that this was the darkest part of the street. And I'm also keenly aware that you're most frightened of this fire. But truth be told, this is where the rubber meets the road. Mm-hmm. And it goes part and parcel to your cooperation. All right? As I've stated earlier, I know you started the fire here, but we both agreed that you never had any intention of hurting anybody. That's correct? Mm-hmm. Okay. Keeping that in mind, it's important for you to tell me what you lit on fire right here. I want to make sure that it coincides with what I said you lit on fire.
Like I said, I really don't know. I
got to tell you, I don't believe you, and it doesn't bode well.
When I was up at Tobin Manor, they put me there while they were building the house here. They had a party at Roberto's for Paul and Paul Jr., because Paul used to go there 3 times a week. And they gave me the balloon that they had, and I brought it home, and I was crying my eyes out. I mean, I was crying constantly all the time anyway. And I just said, if you can hear me, guys, please give me a sign that you know I love you and I miss you. And all of a sudden, the balloon started going boom, 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 boom on the ceiling, and the bow was going back and forth and back and forth. And I didn't have the heat on up. So I got up and went out to see if somebody opened the door or a draft somewhere, but there wasn't. I come back and the balloon's still doing a polka really fast. I mean, you get bang, 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 it was hitting the ceiling. You could hear it. And then it stopped, and I thanked them both. I said, thank you so much, thank you so much. And then the balloon, when March 9th came and it didn't come down, I said, I think I'll take a picture of it every day. So every single day, every morning, I'd take a picture was the first thing I did. And I'd mark it on the on that little note. Well, of course, it was the date was going on to the camera. The balloon stayed up 81 days. It came down on the 82nd day.
Shortly, well, within the first year after they died, my mom would get quite a few signs. And I remember feeling really kind of sad. It was Christmas Eve, and that's when we used to come and celebrate with my stepdad and my brother. It was Christmas Eve. And my mom and I went to the gravesite, and I remember saying I was really sad and I just wanted to get some sort of a sign. And we ended up getting a sign. I did get a sign because she took pictures of their gravestone. She had put a wreath on it and had lights on it, decorated. Then she took 3 quick shots of it, pictures of it, and later the next day or that night, she called me in, and the lights on the wreath, the Christmas lights, actually formed, looked like letters. One picture, there were L's all over, and another picture there were E's all over for Elaine and Linda. So it was very, very significant to me at the time. It meant a lot. I felt that they were really there and really around, and sort of gave me a sense of peace.
2 days before, on December 25th, I was obviously with my uncle, and it was very out of character for him, but he said, give me a kiss on the cheek, and he turned his cheek and he went like this. And so I gave him a kiss on the cheek, and he said, okay, now I'll do you. And he bent over and he gave me a kiss on the cheek. And I don't think he'd ever done that before. And then 2 days later, he was dead.
I used to take my brother Christmas shopping every year. In November, specifically, we used to go. I used to call it a shopping marathon because we used to just go all day long. And it was just a special time that he and I had. So I think of that every November that rolls around. I miss him.
If you just spending time with Paul, you know that there's kindness in this world because he was just such a very gentle person. I know that any time we would visit, he was always there to try to give you something.
When I was young, he used to do some neat things like I had my own skating rink in the yard. Because he'd go out and shovel a big area and flood it. So I'd have my own skating rink. All my friends used to come over, and it was just really neat. And then he used to help me all the time with math. It was my least favorite subject. We'd sit and do homework, and he'd help me, and those are the kind of memories I have that meant a lot.